Hello everyone, you're watching amenaart, and today we are going to be going over Transcend with our amazing artist here.
Hello, my name is Amena, and I am the artist on Transcend.
Yep, and most of the pieces in amenaart, of course.
And I am also the creative director and main artist of amenaart.
This is part of our ongoing series, basically, where we go into a little bit more of the art pieces. So to start off, we got Transcend here, and do you want to go over why you named it Transcend?
Sure, we'll just jump right into it. So when naming this piece, I wanted to kind of just let it just sit there with me. Mm-hmm. We had it at the gallery for a while, and that's our public space where people can see the art at that time where some of it was being made. Not everything was being made there. So I let it sit out for a good while, and I kind of came back and forth to this piece, and I was like, we had actually literally one guy saw it and he wanted to buy it right there, on the spot. And it wasn't even available yet. It was because I was still working on it. But now it's available. So if he's watching, either way, when I was making it, I was just like, it kind of reminds me of something, but I don't know what. It's one of those things. And so at the time, which I still kind of am doing now, I've been journaling my dreams a lot. I don't know if you guys do this. Let us know in the comments below, because I would love to know if anybody else spends their mornings analyzing their dreams.
I do occasionally.
Yeah, I love it. Now I'm addicted because my dreams have been getting more complex, and I'm like, oh, this is actually like a little mini movie in my head. Anyhow, so I was thinking in that dream state, we were kind of in between worlds. Because I don't know about you guys, but my dreams skip. I just can't stay on the same storyline. I jumped from last night. I was in a pool as a kid, and I jumped all the way to what was the other part of it? Oh, I was babysitting some kid at this old lady's house. I don't know. I was just so I'm jumping timelines and sequences, and all kinds of things happen. And none of it's normal. So this is really a piece when I start really giving it space to breathe, as we say. I was really looking at it and going, kind of reminds me of that point in your dream, right, where you're transcending between these different sequences, when you're kind of anything could happen. And this is why the clouds are very colorful. We've got some very unnatural colors going on because it's in that dream state where it's wait, did I see that correctly? Is that supposed to be like that? Everybody thinks it's normal, but it doesn't seem normal.
That does happen a lot, Especially when you're going between spaces and it's kind of shifting around. You're wait a minute.
So one of my dreams this last week was this baby. My parents had a baby, and the baby was only a head and an arm, and they had to get it a mechanical body that was like a spider. And I was just and everybody was this is totally normal. And I was just what?
Happens a lot.
Yeah,
honestly.
So this is the transcending, of that
very
dream state.
colorful. It's slightly blurry, and that's usually how it is. Honestly.
Yeah,
it does give.
It's kind of chaotic too, because we've got the shifts of your mind, right? The shifts in your mind are just trying to piece things together. You're holding on. You're trying to hold on to wait, am I seeing that right?
Honestly, it kind of gives me grass, as if you're just looking at grass, but then the clouds are kind of in front of you. So it's a very interesting feeling for me.
For me, it's a little different. For me, I'm feeling I'm kind of falling between spaces, and I've got this chaos. My brain can't really focus on one thing.
That's usually what dreams do.
Yeah.
So you look at this, and everyone pretty much looks at it a little bit differently. Even though it's a very simple piece.
Oh yeah, a very simple piece.
But dreams, everyone has them very differently,
yeah.
Obviously.
And they all have their own meanings.
But that makes a lot more sense, obviously, why it's called Transcend, because you're transcending through dreams, obviously. Do you want to go in a little bit on some of the color choices? You kind of went into a few there, but clearly you got some greens They got like these purples and blues.
So when I initially made this piece, like before it even became a finished piece, I already had the background. So what that means is usually when I go between like major collections or ideas, there's a point that I just don't feel like painting. We've all been there in our careers and things that we do. We just don't feel the motivation to actually like do something because you're not inspired to do it. And that's why I said everything has to hold a meaning for me. Even if the meaning comes a little bit later and I refine it a little bit, I have to have some kind of meaning or I wouldn't be excited to tell you guys about it or even paint it in the first place. So with this piece, I already was playing around with colors and I really loved the background, but I didn't have an idea for it yet. So I'll have these backgrounds that I make and they're very, they can be really texturalized or very organic and I experiment with a lot of colors too. It gives me the freedom to kind of just paint whatever because essentially it becomes a background for something that I would essentially paint over. Mm-hmm. And I love this actual process and it's something I've adapted over the years. Not to everything and not all paintings start like this, but a lot of my, like I'm going to say about 50-50 now. But I love the freedom it gives me to kind of experiment with colors, patterns, textures. And we've got a couple. In fact, I think the next piece we're actually going over today, which you'll see it on the YouTube channel list, is a piece that came from playing with these colors, but I left it as the piece because of the meaning it held after I created it. And a lot of people will just say, it's abstract art. And the next one we're going over, its name is actually Abstract 1. It has another name too, which I will tell you what that is when we get to that one. But so I started it off really loving the colors and the line work in it. And so when I wanted to use it as a background, that's when it really started holding meaning. The colors I chose originally for this piece weren't this, what's the word? There wasn't this many variations of the color. I've only had I think 4 colors at the time. I was really sticking to the yellows, the really light blue, the white, like cream color, and a little bit of the pink. But it really didn't have any variation at first because I was thinking at first it was going to be like another cloudscape, but more of like a nighttime cloudscape. Mm. But the background was competing with the night sky that I was doing. And then I was just like, nah, that's not the direction I want to take this. I'm not feeling a part of it, right? Mm-hmm. It's feeling very disassociated from where I want to go as like a night sky. And sure, I could have repainted over the whole thing, but I love the background so much. And that's why I kept coming back to it. Like I was saying when I was telling you, what it does mean, I kept putting it off to the side. So I was just like, okay, this isn't it. Let me take a break from this and come back to it and see, what I see when I come back to it. And sometimes it helps. In fact, a lot of times it helps. There's a lot of times that I'm stuck at the direction I want to take the piece and I have to take a break from it.
Yeah. So that obviously explains a little bit more of the colors, and you can actually see where she started and mentioned she had like the pink, the blue, white, and like this yellow, especially up here you can really see it. And then you can see that she delved into more colors around that point. But
and also that does have like a more symbolic meaning too. I don't know if you can really tell. Delphine, I pointed it out unknowingly probably. I left the top really light and bright, so it does transcend down to these darker depths, these darker colors. And that's intentional.
It's coming down from this.
So your eye always goes to the brightest part. So you're starting always up here whenever you look at it.
Even if you originally start in the middle, you usually go up and then you go back down.
Yeah, and that's what it's doing. It's pulling your eye to...
It's pulling you from the start of the dream all the way down.
Yep.
Which is fitting, once again. Is there anything you want to point out that you may have not mentioned before about this piece?
No. This one has a pretty standard signature, like my normal type of painted signature, pulling from the colors of what's around it. Which is really bold and stuff because dreams are bold, right? They don't try to be something else.
Most
like
of
once
the
you're
time
in it, it's just like this
they
is
don't
what's
like
coming.
whisper in your ear so sweetly. No,
No.
they're really in your face.
Yeah, even though it doesn't make sense or anything. You're like, I guess we're in this now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fitting definitely for this piece. You can definitely see it. It's at the end of the transition too, just a little
just
hint of the cloud.
Following the cloud there, yep.
Very fitting. Anyways, that is Transcend here by our amazing artist, Amena, which thank you for going over it with us.
Yeah, you're welcome.
For everyone watching, you are watching Amena Art on YouTube, and obviously, thank you. We do obviously have a full playlist of us going into each of the pieces here at Amena Art that you can watch or obviously follow to see it more as we complete more and tell you the stories on them. But thank you again for watching, and goodbye.